joins us for the next 30 minutes. Then we're going to have Luke Radowski join us from Chicago, where the international media and even the U.S. media calls it a police state. Welcome, NATO, to Chicago's police state. And they are locking the city down, taking people to jail for beer-making equipment they bought at the grocery store. It is just a very frightening manifestation. The new Defense Authorization Act reaffirms secret arrest and disappearance of the American people and will repeal, if it finally passes, a 1948 law, the Foreign Relations Authorization Act, updated in '87, that it's illegal for PSYOPs to be conducted in the U.S. with government misinformation campaigns. Oh, they lie professionally. So now they're just going to make legal what's already been going on. $642 billion for indefinite detention and PSYOP operations against us, the people that pay their salaries. And again, no one's more brainwashed than the average troops themselves. They're not bad people. In fact, they're starting to wake up. But we're not in Kansas anymore. Now, Lyndon LaRouche joins us to talk about a host of issues. We have Medvedev, the rotated from president to prime minister over in Russia, saying they may have to have nuclear war with the U.S. The Chinese president said that 3 months ago, prepare for war. We've got the West shifting now, saying Al-Qaeda's our friend, attacking Syria and Libya. The new terrorist threat is the American people, and the new military threat is China. And then we have Obama's literary agent for 16 years saying he was born in Kenya. Obviously, Obama is being blackmailed with that info. Lyndon LaRouche, who has an incredible private intelligence network, doesn't need any introduction here from my show. We'll give you his websites as well. Lyndon LaRouche here on the show with us. Lyndon, so much is happening in the world right now. The impeachment's starting to move forward. Out of that spectrum of issues I threw out at you, what would you like to tackle first?
Well, the point is we're in an interim period of probably, I don't know how many days or weeks, a transition after which I would expect a decision to be made on whether the president, the current president, is going to continue to be president. We're in a crisis. I wouldn't be surprised if you have a new president being listed to the roster in types of the failures of this. But we're in the greatest crisis that of our nation has ever existed, even since the Revolutionary War. And the question is whether we'll survive. I am, of course, committed to doing what is necessary to make this nation survive successfully. But we're in for the next weeks, we are in a very dangerous situation in which no one can certainly tell you what's going to happen. It may be people can tell you what they should happen, but they're not able to tell you, not even me.
You were on a month or so ago and you said the crisis was going to get worse. It has. We've got the financial meltdowns taking place, the zombie banks. Why is the world accelerating towards conflict and crisis? What has put us on this path?
Well, first of all, we put on this path by a bunch of presidents we had as a sequence of presidents so far, including this one. And the only likelihood that we'll avoid the very worst effect of some kind or another if we don't get this president out of office very soon. Look, you've got a Republican candidate who doesn't wash, and you've got a present president who also is a failure. I think we're going to come to a point of decision, and it's going to come over the issue of the relationship of Russia to the United States. That's where the issue lies. If Obama gets out. Now, the thing we have to understand is the Joint Chiefs of Staff and related military concerned people have prevented this from becoming a thermonuclear war so far. But as long as we have Obama as president, as long as he remains in the office of president, we cannot be secure. We may get into a thermonuclear war, a full-scale thermonuclear war. It will be started by the United States if Obama is president. So getting Obama out of the presidency now is not an also-ran. It is something that must happen if we're going to have a United States. I'm optimistic that if there are things I won't say now because that's a little bit inappropriate, but I think that if Obama is removed from office, which he's right to do soon, we will get a completely new shuffle, and I think out of a new shuffle we have a chance of coming out of this ahead.
Now, Carol Quigley's book that came out in the late 60s as an insider, which they wanted to then remove off the shelves, Tragedy and Hope, that I should add, is available at Infowars.com. It basically validates everything you've said about this being a Britannic-centered conspiracy, at least the British system of divide and conquer, divide and rule. Now we learn that, I mean, there's just evidence upon evidence that Obama really is born in Kenya. That would have made him a British subject, a British citizen. I've been trying to really track who he is with all these fake names. From your research, because I know you've been saying this, is that why you've been saying Obama is a British agent?
I know he's a British agent because he's an agent of British interests. I don't care where he was born. He's a British agent. He's following orders from London, the British Empire. And that's the issue. He also is unfit to be president, mentally, morally, otherwise. So therefore, he should be impeached or thrown out of office, whatever. We get him out of office within a few weeks from now, at least.
Well, you've been saying that for a while, and I kind of saw it as wishful thinking, but so I had Jerome Corsi on. He said the word is Obama's in trouble. I had even one of your old colleagues, Webster Tarpley, on saying something similar. We've seen all these Washington Post articles about Obama should step down, there should be a new nominee. Do you think they'll really try something like that?
Well, I think the only way it's going to happen is if somebody in the United States. Look, go back to the time that what happened in Libya and things like that. This thing was supposed to go to a full-scale war sometime late last months, and it didn't happen. It didn't happen because of certain influences. But mostly it didn't happen because our military leadership and people associated with that leadership have acted to prevent the United States from being engaged in a thermonuclear war with Russia. Russia doesn't want it. Russia is willing to cooperate with the United States on exactly the terms the United States wants, that not Obama. So we can avoid this war. And if we get rid of Obama, we're going to have to take a new president. We don't have one running. Maybe Hillary Clinton would come forward and volunteer again or something.
What does getting rid of Obama do? Send a signal of a change?
No, it actually frees the American people from a dictatorship. People out there are scared. There is an increasing hatred of Obama. There's opposition to Obama increasing. But people are frightened. If they see him going, they're going to suddenly become encouraged. And I think we'll get a presidency that we want if that happens.
Why are they announcing and admitting that they do have re-education camps for political dissidents? Yourself, a former political prisoner of this system. Why are they announcing that, yeah, they're listening to us? It looks like they're trying to intimidate us.
Well, look at Kaczynski. He's the associate specialist in dictatorship inside the Obama administration. And if Obama goes, he goes, the program goes. The American people are fed up with this thing, but they're frightened. They're becoming a little less frightened because they're becoming more angry than they are frightened. But I think we're going to reach a point where either we actually go to a thermonuclear war, and that's something we will not survive. No one could survive.
And by the way, you were saying that here 6 months ago. Now the Chinese president, the Russian president, and prime minister are all saying thermonuclear conflagration, using your exact quote, is now on the table. Why are they saying things like that?
Because it's true. We have the negotiations going on. For example, Russia has a whole panoply of these negotiations. The Joint Chiefs of Staff have laid out the policy for the United States in terms of a non-war. These are the important things. We have people in the United States, especially in our professional military and some other people of that type, who have been opposing Obama all the way through. But as long as Obama has the title of President of the United States, their hands are tied if Obama really tries to pull something off. And he's got the British behind him. So therefore, we're holding off, hoping that Obama does not get the chance to declare thermonuclear war globally. And he's getting ready to do so.
And the whole Anglo-American arm, they think they're going to be able to fix things by having a nuclear war with Russia?
No, they're insane. These forces are absolutely insane.
So I'll take it you're not celebrating the Queen's Jubilee.
No, I'm not doing that. What I'm trying to do is do my part, and I have some, from background, some capabilities. Do my part to encourage those who think as I do in our country, including some of our top military and other people like that, to do what we can to get this guy out of office before it gets us into a thermonuclear war. And on that basis, the minute that guy is going out of office, I can guarantee you there will be some shocking things occurring for the good. And they'll happen soon. And I'm just fighting on that basis now. That's my job, is part of this job.
If you could be at Bilderberg coming up in Virginia in 2 weeks, when we come back, Lyndon LaRouche is our guest. LaRouchePack.com is one of the main websites we've had up on screen here. I want to ask you, what would you do if you could address the power elite meeting, 130 of them or so? What would you say to these people? Because they are eugenicists, they are crazy people. David Rockefeller doesn't have long for this world, and maybe he wants to go out in a blaze of glory because they are moving missiles in against Russia. They are moving in ships in on China. With this other double game of having China take over our media, it's bizarre. I was thinking during the break how a long time ago, Lyndon LaRouche wrote, or his outfit put out, Dope Inc., exposing British royalty and their control of much of the narcotics trade. And now that's out in the open. That's why they're going to keep British troops through 2014 in Afghanistan. I was thinking about how they now show our troops growing the opium on the news and say it's good. This whole facade now is see-through. But the system still operates like we don't know and just counts on apathy. But if you could talk to some of the most powerful people in the world, I know you've advised CIA directors and others, what would you say to Bilderberg? Because I know they pay attention to this show. They pay attention to what you do as well, Mr. LaRouche. What would you say to them with their meeting coming up in Chantilly?
Say, drop dead, because there is no future for humanity under a Bilderberg type, and it is a Bilderberg type of program. That's the word is not understood adequately, but that policy that was laid down by those two monarchies at that time was a scheme for destroying civilization. And now this scheme has to be destroyed.
See, as usual, you're so historically informed. Explain to people. 1954, Dutch, British royalty set it up to carry out a eugenics world government.
Well, the two monarchies, the Dutch and the British, are products of a system that was created as the new Venetian party. That's why the two monarchies are there. The British were conquered by the Dutch, by the invasion of England, in this case. So the point is, we get rid of that thing and go back to the American system, which is what the rest of the world would really like. I don't get Russia, China, so forth. They would like the American system. And therefore, our job is to get the American system restored and get this British Empire system out. And we can do that if we get enough angry people deciding, like our Joint Chiefs of Staff types who are doing their job, for example, and do our job. And we can rebuild this economy immediately. We can proceed. We can get reforms in place, and we can get large programs which are ready to go, and we can recreate the United States as it once was, and better.
That's right. These people spend all their time, and admit it, suppressing the growth. The oligarchs don't want growth. They're always acting like they want to make things grow, but their real policies are post-industrial.
Yes, we can go with NWAPA, which is ready to go. That is ready to go as a design process. This will create 4 million jobs of high technology jobs, generally, with 2 million others coming in for places like the old auto industry and other things. We can create, on short notice, under the correct kind of program, like a Roosevelt program, we can create 6 million high-tech jobs, or basically high-tech jobs, in the United States.
Let me ask you this, Lyndon LaRouche. Why would $20 billion of our bailout money be used to move General Motors, Cadillac and Volt plants to China? Because on one side, the West is trying to start a war with China, but the other side, henpecking the United States and getting rid of our industry. I guess it's that oligarch mind of just attack everybody. I mean, what is that?
They're out to reduce the world's population, as the British have stated, from the present level of 7 billion people estimated on this planet to 1 at a rapid rate. The intent, you look for when the U.S. industries went over from the United States into China, they didn't do much in production. They took the production capability of the United States and they tried to destroy it. They are destroying our food supplies. We're going to have mass death on this nation come summertime under the present conditions. And those conditions exist in other parts of the world. We now have a last chance to get rid of this president we have, put him someplace in an insane asylum where he can be protected, no damage come to him, and we can now act to restore our economy, and we must do that. We can do it, and we must do it. But we've got to get this present policy, and the last 2 presidents we've had here have been bad jokes. We've got to get our policy back in function.
Well, I'll say this. The fact that for 16 years his literary agent said he was born in Kenya, that's really hurting him. But I don't see how we get rid of him. We've got the impeachment bill. You and Ron Paul and others are supporting. LaRouchePAC.com. Lyndon LaRouche, thank you so much for spending time with us, and hopefully we can get a new update from you in the next few weeks. Thank you. There goes Lyndon LaRouche with the best Skype feed I've ever seen. It's like the guy is, it's like looking through a window at the TV monitor at that guy. I mean, I wish our high-def cameras looked that good. That guy's got some amazing tech staff over there. All right, there he goes. We're going to get an update coming up. You know, I hope we can avert this, but I'm telling you, he's right. The people running things are completely insane. They're eugenicists who think killing all of us is a great thing. And that's on record. This is insane. We'll be back. Ask yourselves, what are you doing in this time of great challenge? What are you doing to unlock minds?